How's it going, everyone? Sessiion here. Welcome to a Final Fantasy XIV video. Usually we get very theoretical and very thought-minded about content in this game as much as we love this game, and really try to figure out things that we can kind of like come together and talk about. And so for me, I've come to the realization that there is a very interesting piece of conversation that I like having, and it's around like Wondrous tales. So I do Unreal every week with my friends, and you know, we always kind of stand like next to Chloe and we're like, hey, you know, nice to see you, and then we just kind of forget that she has Wondrous tales. Because as much as the Wondrous tales content is very cool, but I think at the same time people just kind of do it unsynced and they're like, like I'll just go do it later, like whenever I need to, something of the nature, right? But realistically, the cool thing about Wondrous tales is that everyone is always striving for that reward of the golden certificate, because if you don't know, that golden certificate has a chance of getting you like a super expensive mount, or you can get you can hold on to those and farm them and then get like a chess piece, and that chess piece is usually comes out with like the new raid tier. So granted, right now it's like 7.15. When 7.2 comes out, there will be a new chess piece available, and that chess piece is going to go for like 75 million or something crazy, because obviously everyone wants to be prepared for the raid tier come day one. So that's usually what people kind of do Wondrous tales for one reason or another. But also you can get experience out of it, you can get poetics, you can get tomes, you can get maps if you want to, or like money, MGP, like the whole 9 yards. But the problem is, I feel like that sometimes you run into is that you forget that it exists because the necessity of it is not really so appealing. And for me too, like, you know, when you look at the current one that we have here, it's got the top 4 is like dungeon content you can do between certain ranges. If all my jobs are maxed out, like, you know, why would I do like a dungeon? There's like a roulette thing here and there. There's like Orban, I see like Circus Tower. There's some E11. Then there's like Palace of the Dead, some Extreme Trials, and PvP. So all that would be really cool to do, but you know, sometimes it's like, well, what do I get for doing it? And I feel like again, you can get some of the rewards that they offer if you get like a chance at the lucky roll on it, but some people even more so don't even know that this exists. But what they do is are willing to take the time to actually go complete old content because they're finally getting the opportunity to do optional content. I know a lot of people who actually are just kind of going through MSQ, and then once they're completed with MSQ, now they're just like, oh, I want to try and check out the optional content available in game, like what is there? And then they'll find out that there's raids and extreme trials, but then, you know, they understand that doing it unsynced, meaning that you can go fight Shiva at level 100 and it's kind of like nothing. It's kind of like, oh, like whatever. So then they want the challenge, right? Oh, like let's like go do it at level 50 and then go press buttons. But there's like a couple issues, right? Like one, everyone feels like level 50 content is, as much as it's fun, the job design is a little bit redundant, right? Because it's like, who wants to play, I don't know, Dragoon at level 50? Who wants to play Viper at level 50, right? Like the whole 9 yards. So that's kind of where I can understand the obstacle coming into play. But more so though, people still want to try and go tackle content as if it was there for the first time ever at level 50, which is cool. I actually like that idea a lot. But it's kind of tough to do level 50 content when everyone just prefers to just do it on sync, because like, why would you? But some people actually want like that first-hand experience. And I feel like it'd be really cool if they found a way to actually implement that in the game somehow, where people can actually take a challenge out of that, but also be appealed to go do the content. Like, I know the content's old, but I don't want the content to feel like it's just there for no reason, when they could find a way to make it like a relevant piece of content that we've had for the longest time. I know like it's kind of like, oh, who wants to do, again, like turn 5 or turn 9, but some people actually want to. So I feel like they should take advantage of that in some way, shape, and form. And I think Wondrous tales is actually the way to do it. But we're going to like make some modifications to it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Realistically, if you update this and take advantage of a situation that people kind of collectively do in Party Finder, there's something that they call like mine, or it's like it's an acronym, right? It stands for minimum item level, no echo, meaning that you're at the lowest item level possible with the gear in mind, regardless of what you have on. You sync yourself down level wise to whatever the content is. So if you're going to go do like an Alexander raid, it's going to put you at level 60, and whatever the item level is for that raid at the minimum, it'll put you at that level statistically. and then no echo, meaning that if you wipe and wipe a night, but you won't get like a bonus stat boost to wiping. You'll have to keep on trying it as if like the raid came out like yesterday. And I really like that idea. I've always wanted to do content like that, but I didn't think that it was super appealing to a lot of people. But the thing is that the appeal is there. It's just that the community is super small, and there is a Discord for mine content, but you know, it's just so small. So I think they can actually take significant advantage of actually just making it something in the game. I don't have like a name for it though, because I was thinking like, oh, like let's call it like Wondrous Tale Savage, but the word savage is kind of like a weird word where, you know, it kind of depends. So I feel like I don't want to call it Mine Tales because that just doesn't really make sense, but like replace the word Wondrous with something. I'm using mine for now, but Tales something. You can at least give a form of content that people can crack at. But here's the difference though, because in this version of Wondrous Tales, what you get is it changes per person. So like if I have this book and I'm like 7 items completed deep, my buddy might be, instead of having like Tsukuyomi and Tatani Extreme, they might have like Zodiark and like Ravana, but I don't have Zodiark or Ravana in mine, which is kind of like, huh? Right. Or like Ifrit and Shiva, they might get like Garuda and Titan, which is like, okay, you know, so that's kind of like one of those issues where it's like people want to do Wondrous Tales together, but they don't have the same book. So why do content that you don't have to do sometimes, right? So that's kind of where it's like, I don't really know how to take that into perspective, etc. So here's the fix for that. In this case scenario, well, again, because the objective is to do it minimum eye level, I would probably just kind of stretch it across the board and randomize it. But the difference is that everyone gets the same thing. So it's not like I get Titan and then my friend gets Ifrit and then I don't have Ifrit and they don't have Titan. I think realistically everybody just has the same exact piece of content available. That way everyone can kind of fill in that party finder and actually go prog fights together, which I think would be really cool because people are willing to take advantage of party finder significantly. But it's kind of hard to do that when it's, you know, different pieces of content. Because like if you see that someone has like a Shiva Extreme up, you have to go check your book to see that, oh, do I have that one? Oh, I don't. Okay, so then like I don't want to find that one. And like, you know, it's kind of just, all right, well, moving on. So I think what they should do is change it so that the bottom 4 are Savage raids, and it doesn't matter which one, like just anything. Because also what this does is, right now there's a situation with the Aroma Reborn raids where they are Savage level raids, but they're not labeled as Savage, so there is not like a normal and Savage version for the most part. But they don't get included in the rotation for normal like raid roulette in the duty finder. So at least now, by actually creating like Savage raids in general, then any of those raids can be on the table, including the version of the Savage. So at least anything with like an extreme, like in Rage, actually has opportunity to be in that category, which I think would be really cool. So you can give me something crazy, like give me like 09S, which is Chaos. Give me like P3, which is Phoenix. Give me T4, which is like that elevator, like gauntlet. And then give me like A3, which is Living Liquid. And the thing is that everybody would have those. So that way, if somebody wanted to prog a fight for the first time ever, they can actually do so in Party Finder. And other people who are in that same mindset that are doing this like Tales book, they can actually just find other people that are doing the content. So you're not going to be like SOL because somebody like just has like a different fight altogether. Now you're going to end up seeing 4 different raids up in Party Finder, and it's going to be one of those 4, which would be cool because if you feel like you're trying to prog one versus another, you can at least like practice it, or if you're not, then you know you don't have to. And then kind of follow suit, right? You have like 4 extreme trials, so you can do like, you know, give me Ifrit, give me Bismarck, give me Shinryu, and give me like Heidelin. So you got yourself 4 extreme trials. Obviously they're all like past expansion content, but again, people can go prog it and go, you know, have fun with that and figure it out, which would be cool. And if you're familiar with the content, you can go do it, and it's really like not that difficult, but you're going to encounter players who've never actually done it for the first time, and they're trying it now for the first time, which I think would be awesome. Then you do 4 optional dungeons, and I say optional because like they stopped doing that with I probably would like asterisk that one like a little bit, because not a lot of the dungeons after Stormblood were optional. Like, I think Stormblood was the last expansion where they made the post MSQ dungeons like optional, if you will. Not all of them, but like some of them. But like with Shadowbringers, I think if I'm correct, every single dungeon after MSQ, like Shadowbringers, is all like required in the like the MSQ. And I think Endwalker is in the same boat, and Dawn Trail as well. So, I mean, I would say, if anything, you can probably retitle that instead of optional, do like post MSQ dungeons. Because MSQ dungeons are not really designed to be like exceptionally challenging. But some of the ones that you have from, you know, Stormblood, Heavensward era, like they actually had like optional dungeons. And I think also, if anything, you can kind of incentivize the idea to add more optional dungeons. Because I would love like a what if version, or like a side story version of like Lapis Manalis, which is that Endwalker dungeon when you're going in the like that icy pathway into the thing where our Cagnazzo is at. Like, that'd be kind of cool if you get like a different version, right? Something of the nature, you know. I mean, I'd be cool with that. And then of course the top four, I mean, I would make them just kind of something like community based, right? You can have like a bunch of fates out there. There's like one fate that you got to go do that it just kind of appears whenever, or like one of those super rare ones that's like the big one. I would throw like PvP in there maybe, because as much as PvP is great, I do love me some Frontline and Crystalline Conflict, but one that's really not getting a lot of attention is Rival Wings. And Rival Wings is a lot of fun, but it's really hard to actually queue into Rival Wings. So I think I threw PvP in there for that reason alone. And then whatever else that comes into mind, you know. I mean, I'm cool with doing like a variant dungeon, or like Criterion's kind of like a lot though, but like, I mean, not technically out of the running. You know, an unsynced, or not unsynced, sorry, a synced alliance would be really cool. Doing like, I'll do Labyrinth of the Ancients if it can be a min eye level, no echo, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I think you can kind of play around with it like a lot. Now, I think realistically, there are also some caveats that come into this as well, because one thing that the Wondrous Tales has that's a bit of like a, oh, like, why would I do this when I can just buy it, right? It's that all the rewards, if I'm correct, or if not all of them, like most of the rewards are all just purchasable on the market board. So if you're like seeing this mount that's worth like 6 million and you have 6 million and you don't want to buy it, or you can just buy it. Or if you don't want to like do Wondrous Tales, you can just go to the market board and just like go get it, right? Which like is cool, but I think the purpose of this other version is that you're progressing and working in content with the intention to clearing it and acquire rewards that are only available from doing the book. Now, of course, that being said, there is going to be like the luck factor that comes into play, and I probably, due to the nature of how it works, I might like stir that away like a little bit. So I probably would change like the lines thing, instead of having 3 lines be, because like getting 3 lines is super rare. I might remove that like a little bit. I would probably do like a 5 seal thing, or like a, you know, or maybe even better yet, like if you know the seals, then you can actually pick and choose which ones you want to do, and then people might collectively be like, oh, like go do this content because it'll guarantee 3 seals or 3 lines. Like even that's probably fine, but the rewards, at least for this Mind Tales idea, is that similar to the Chaotic Alliance raid, is where you can kind of acquire like material and trade the material for items that you can only acquire from doing the content. Because if you don't know, in the Chaotic Alliance raid, there is like there's a hairstyle, there's a mount, there's like a minion, like you can acquire it in the market board, but people have to actually do the Chaotic Alliance raid to acquire the item to put it on the market board. So no matter what, you have to go do the Chaotic Alliance raid to even have the chance of getting it from somebody else, right? So at least with Wondrous Tales, a lot of the rewards that are in here are also in full hollows. So like a lot of the mounts that are there are in the same category, right? So at least with the mine content, I would say like they can probably follow a similar currency system where they have specific rewards, and those rewards are going to be like a currency you can hold on to, and you can trade that currency for something that you can only acquire from doing the content with this in mind. And then that way you can, like, you know, activate it for yourself. And I would probably kind of go half and half, where half the rewards you can only acquire by doing the Mind Tales, and the other half you can do and also put it on sale in the market board if you already have it and you want to like make some gil. And I would also take unique rewards and put it behind here also. So I wouldn't, you know, if it's a reward like you can get somewhere else, then I would just not put it in here. It doesn't have to be anything like, because I think, you know, if it's locked behind a piece of content, people are going to want to get it, right? I know for sure, like, because P12S is now being done unsynced, everyone kind of missed out a little bit on like the axolotl amount because of how difficult that raid was, because obviously like going through 4 raids was like a lot. But now it's unsynced, so everyone's just kind of like going to go do P12S to get the axolotl mount, because like super cute mount. So I feel like if they want to make cute mounts and put it behind here too, and kind of give people the push and like incentive to go do some of that content, at least they could, right? And that's why I feel like it's logical to create content that's going to provide like a fun challenge and give people that like nostalgic feeling of going back and go doing old raids, but also providing content for people who want to try and tackle it for the first time ever. And then if they feel like it is like, you know, too much of a challenge and they need to go practice, then sure, at least you have some of these other options that are easy to go tackle as well. And that way you can kind of, you know, always be working towards it in one way or another. Because like, you know, dungeons and fates, you know, PvP, that kind of thing, like those are really easy to like knock out, you know. And extreme trials might pose like a bit of an issue to some degree, but like it also like, depends on the fight that you're talking about. And then savage raids for sure, you know, they're going to be challenging pretty much no matter which one you tackle, except for like the very, very select few. So that's kind of an idea I wanted to throw out. I would love for them to find some way to add this in the game, because I know that mine content is really, really cool and it's popular, but it's also small, and you know, setting it up is very difficult because people are just doing it for fun. So, you know, if you try to add like some kind of incentive for people to go tackle the content, I think it'll see like a huge surge. Because obviously, like farming the mounts that are already in game is already enough of the reward, and so is the gear too. And that's also the other thing too. Like if you actually want to perform well in the content, sometimes you just have to like get the gear that's specific to that raid. But that's like a whole nother story. So, but that's my thought process at least. I would like for them to find a way to bring this into fruition, because I would love to go back and go do content that I've done years and years ago with people who are like really new to the game and they want to go experience it. But like it feels like I don't want to do that because of like, you know, I get nothing out of it, and I feel like, not that I don't want something out of it, but if there is like an incentive to keep on doing it too, then it's actually like worthwhile and a lot of fun. So there you have it, Mind Tales. It's not a good name, but it's a thought I had in my mind, and I would actually like to see them put it into some kind of perspective. So let me know what you think, and have a good one. Take care.